Honda had a burning hot 2023. Sales have pretty much completely rebounded across all their models, and we had an all-new Accord. Seeing them more and more on the roads. Actually, I'm seeing quite a few as rental cars too. I like the rear end. Luckily, I'm seeing the rear end more than the front end because it is a very, it's not my cup of tea for the design, but Honda's able to produce over 50% of them now as a hybrid, and that is the way I would be going. I would not be touching the CVT and the turbocharged engine. Give me that 40 miles per gallon goodness and a smoother experience in the hybrid, and I'll be happy. Also, at the beginning of 2023, if we go way back, right, the new Pilot came out, watched my review on it, pretty much liked everything about it. The AC was weak on it, but that's about all I can say about it. It's a good family hauler. Passport and Ridgeline have gotten the smallest of refreshes right at the tail end of 2023. It's hard to even call them a refresh. But yeah, they're getting at least some attention here at the end of 2023. So let's get into 2024. Honda's starting it off. At the end of January is the media drive for the Prologue, their first ever battery electric vehicle here in the United States, not counting, the Clarity EV, which had like 60 miles of range or whatever. That doesn't count. This is the first mass-produced EV. It is built at a General Motors plant. It's pretty much using Ultium and everything General Motors. Here's the benefit of going with the Prologue over something like the Blazer EV is that the Prologue actually has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. I think that's going to sway a lot of people, as well as the design on the Prologue is stunning. I loved it when I saw it at the LA Auto Show last month. It is a gorgeous vehicle, and I think it will do well for Honda, as long as it's not too expensive. I don't think we have exact pricing quite yet, but the Blazer EV is really expensive. You might as well just get a Cadillac Lyriq at that point. All right, also in 2024, as a minivan lover, as a minivan owner, and a big family guy, the Odyssey is supposed to be getting some updates. What will those updates be? It's really hard to say. I'm not really hearing anything from my sources. It's either going to be a refresh, that's what I'm thinking, and another refresh. My heart is wanting a hybrid to compete with the Sienna, but I just don't know if Honda's going to do it. More than likely, it's going to be the 10-speed auto with the V6. Can't tell you what time of the year the new Odyssey would be coming out. My guess would be summer. And then what's going on the Civic end? Well, I'm not sure if we're going to get a refresh in 2024. That could be coming or pushed to 2025. The most exciting thing about the Civic in 2024 is that it is finally getting the hybrid. And the hybrid is going to really put on blast the Prius, more than likely, as well as the Corolla hybrid, the Elantra hybrid, and we're going to have a nice shootout in that compact sedan hatchback market. And the Civic hybrid, it's gotten raving reviews over in Europe. It's been on sale there for a year or two now. Around 185 horsepower, tons of torque, and it is going to be a great model in the lineup for Honda. Probably 50 miles per gallon, fairly easy, I would say. Hopefully they keep the cost down, and hopefully we have good availability of the hybrid. If we look at the CR-V hybrid as well as the Accord hybrid, we know that there's a huge 50+% take rate of the hybrid models there. We could see the same thing with the Civic. Honda wants to be fully electric in North America, I think by 2040, and in 2030 they'll be very electrified from hybrids to fully electric. So this is where the crystal ball comes out, 2025 and beyond. So take these things with a grain of salt. But in 2025, I hope to God Honda gives us an HR-V hybrid. And maybe a slight refresh would be nice too, but an HR-V hybrid would be awesome. Maybe change the front end if we're getting a refresh. I would like to see a different front end on it, because when I was in Japan, David and I, we toured the Honda headquarters, and they had the Vezel over there. And the Vezel is a gorgeous vehicle. It's very well done design-wise. Our HR-V front end here in the States, it just doesn't look right. Bring the HR-V hybrid, give a Corolla Cross hybrid a run for its money. And we should be getting a refresh on the CR-V in 2025 as well. Don't expect any differences. Maybe we get a CR-V plug-in hybrid if we're lucky to compete against the RAV4 Prime and the Korean plug-in hybrids as well, like the Tucson plug-in hybrid, for example. But what we should also be getting, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we finally get a redesign on the Passport and Ridgeline. It's still currently on the old platform. They still use the old 9-speed auto, even though they got refreshed in 2020 at the end of 2023. Hoping 2025 brings us a huge improvement on the new platform. The current MDX is on that platform, and the Pilot's on that platform as well, even though the MDX and Pilot have completely different suspensions. In 2025, we should also be getting a refresh on said Pilot. Don't know what they would be doing. Probably just new screens in it. It has really small screens, and we should be getting updated electronics and safety features there. Now, 2025, at the end of that year, there's a huge development happening. LG and Honda's joint venture battery plant in Ohio is going online and starting to cranking out batteries. This is important because at this point, in theory, Honda won't have to rely on General Motors anymore. In fact, in 2023, they're working together on small electric vehicles that are affordable. That was supposed to come out in 2027. That got scrapped. They're no longer working together. And what they have been working together with, the Origin self-driving, that could be falling apart too. The Origin is like a burning mess right now. I think that's going to be very exciting for a lot of you guys because you don't want Honda to have much to do with General Motors. I don't really care as long as the product's good and it's reliable. It's good news that Honda is breaking away, in my opinion, get their own identity, create their own cars. And in 2025, not only are they building their own batteries, but we should start seeing the materialization of their Honda E architecture. And this is going to be coming in 2026, and we could see 3 models in 2026 that are completely on this new platform. One is Afeela, which is Honda and Sony working together. I toured this vehicle for you guys when I was in Japan. I wasn't expecting much from it, to be honest. Electric cars sometimes, it's more glitz and glam than actual substance. That Afeela felt production ready. It felt extremely premium. The materials, the electronics, the screen quality, the build quality. I know it was just one of one prototype in the world, but it was absolutely amazing. It looked incredible. It looks unlike any other vehicle on the road. Very smooth lines, like a smooth pebble compared to a lot of these EVs, which have all these crazy hard edges going on all over the place, like Lexus. We'll talk about Lexus later in the video, of course, once we get through the other manufacturers. But yes, Afeela coming in 2026 using Sony technology. You'll have PlayStation controllers on the inside, so you can stream your games from your PS5 into the car because it has all these camera sensors and Wi-Fi. It's a rolling PlayStation, kind of how I see it. It's a PlayStation on wheels, the Afeela. I don't know how you feel about the name, but I really like the car from what I saw. What we see about the Afeela is a foreshadowing of what we'll also see in the Honda lineup. We'll see an EV sedan from Honda likely in 2026. They don't want Afeela to have the entire spotlight, but the Afeela is built in North America, and they should also be building the Honda badged version of it without all the Sony screens and technology and PlayStation built in. So that'll be coming. So an EV Honda sedan, as well as potentially an EV compact crossover. The Prologue could still be on sale. I don't know how long Honda will need a General Motors to produce the Prologue. I would assume they sign like a 3-year agreement because the EV market's very fickle. And I would assume Honda would rather have their own compact crossover coming out in 2026 and discontinue the Prologue, hence the name, right? The Prologue is a foreshadowing of what's to come. Killed the Prologue, in my opinion, in 2026 with maybe just 3 short model years. And then we have an EV compact crossover under the Honda E architecture as well. Civic could be getting a redesign in 2026, and in 2027, no longer are we getting those cheap Ultium EVs that was supposed to be with General Motors. That's scrapped. We could be getting a refreshed HRV at that point, or maybe the Civic redesign falls into 2027. But big things coming for Honda. Let's see here. They want to make over 70 Prologues a year starting this year. That is more than I was expecting. That's quite a few. They want to be 40% electric in North America by 2030. We know that in 2025, the e-architecture is coming out, maybe pushed to 2026. Exciting times for Honda, and I can't wait to see what they have planned for us in 2024 and beyond. Acura in 2024 and beyond is going to have some big changes coming for the company. We know them as the premium sports performance division of Honda. They're mainly a North American brand. In 2022, we got the revival of the Integra. We had a little refresh on the RDX. In 2023, we got the Integra Type S. Holy cow, that vehicle is amazing. And we also had the TLX Type S refresh right at the end of 2023. 2024, what is going to happen? Well, I'm hoping we get an MDX refresh. I love the new MDX. I still call it new. It's been on the market for a while. Maybe we'll see some updates there. Maybe getting rid of the ELS audio, which I really, really like. I think everyone really likes ELS audio. And as they're switching over to the Bang & Olufsen sound systems, which is debuting, by the way. The Bang & Olufsen is debuting in the ZDX. The ZDX should come out early 2024. It should launch with the Type S as well. The Type S will have 500 horsepower, and the normal ZDX probably around 300 horsepower. The official numbers are out there. I just don't have them on top of my head. I'll put them on the screen for you guys. But the ZDX is going to be in the $70,000 range for the Type S, and I think around the $60,000 range for the non-Type S. I think you can get this, the ZDX and rear-wheel drive, where the Prologue is front-wheel drive, for example, all-wheel drive. And I think you can also, well, of course, you can get the ZDX and the Type S with 500 horsepower. Think of this as the Cadillac Lyriq, but kind of morphed and changed into an Acura. So you have the, I gave you guys a quick walk around. I was at the LA Auto Show. I was impressed with it. I liked it quite a bit just sitting in it. It felt Acura-like for me, except from a few General Motors parts here and there. But I think Acura did a pretty good job making it their own. All right, in 2025, what is going on for Acura? Well, fingers crossed, more than likely. Got a good feeling about it. The RDX will finally be getting a redesign. The RDX is a bit long in the tooth right now. It's got the 2-liter turbocharged engine with the 10-speed auto. It just needs updated electronics more than anything. I hate the True Touch interface. The MDX currently has that too, so hopefully they can get rid of that this year in 2024 with the refresh for the 2025 RDX redesign. What is Honda and Acura going to do with the powertrain? Well, I don't think they're going to do anything to it. I think they're going to keep the 2-liter. They're going to keep the 10-speed auto. And if we're lucky, we get a Type S, an all-wheel drive Type S like we see in the TLX. So the thing is, I'm not quite sure if the RDX will take the 3-liter V6 from the TLX, as well as the MDX Type S models, and put that in the Type S RDX, or they'll use the 4-cylinder. I personally think they'll use the 4-cylinder Type S engine with over 300 horsepower that we see from the Integra Type S. But that would be cool to see. More than likely 10-speed auto, beefed up as a Type S, all-wheel drive, super handling all-wheel drive that we see from the MDX Type S, for example. Made it to the 2-liter and called a day for the RDX Type S. Integra and the Integra Type S could also see a refresh in 2025. They don't have the True Touch interface to begin with, so they'll just be getting new updated electronics, maybe Google Assistant sort of things going on. ELS audio could be replaced by Bang & Olufsen. In 2026, like Honda, with the introduction of the e-architecture, we will be seeing a new next-gen EV sedan from Acura. I would love for it to be called the Legend. Bring the Legend back. Honda or Acura, you brought the Integra nameplate back. Bring back the Legend nameplate for this new architecture EV. And what's going to happen to the TLX? Ooh, that's tough to say. I think that they would keep the TLX around in 2026, maybe give it another refresh. I don't see them investing for a whole redesign for the TLX in 2026, unless it is just fully battery electric, and then you just have one full size. It's not even full size, but if it's an EV, it'll have more interior space than the TLX, right? So we could just see one electric sedan in 2026 and the TLX as we know it with the gasoline engines be retired. Or what I think is going to happen is Honda's going to hedge their bets, refresh the TLX again, and come out with a Legend EV sedan. That would just make my day. In 2027, it's hard to say, right? We're getting further out. It's getting less clear. The murkiness is clouding our crystal ball. MDX redesign could happen. What would an MDX redesign look like in 2027? Probably gasoline engine still. And we know Acura is not committed to hybrids unless something really drastic happens in the EV market where EVs aren't selling at all or something. I just don't see that happening with the research and development going into them. They're going to get better and better. But MDX redesign more than likely is going to stick with their gasoline engines and a Type S, but just new styling, new technology. And ZDX, what's going to happen to the ZDX in 2027? I think like the Honda Prologue, it could very well be canceled after its first initial run of 3 years because the ZDX is built alongside of the Lyriq, the Cadillac Lyriq, I think in Spring Hill, Tennessee. So I don't think Acura wants long-term ambitions with the ZDX. And like the first ZDX, it didn't live very long. So I think the ZDX could be meeting its end in 2027. Now, in 2027, we could also see a new 3-row electric vehicle. We know the just call it the MDX electric, right? Maybe you have a redesigned gasoline engine MDX, and then you have an electric MDX as well. Hopefully that 3-row EV from Acura is on the new E architecture. I don't see why it wouldn't. Honda is building it to be very scalable and flexible. So that should be coming in 2027. And after that is beyond my comprehension, other than we know Acura wants to have over 50% EV sales volume here in North America by 2030. They want to have about 30,000 per year of the ZDX. Where it was 70,000 per year with the Prologue on the Honda end. So that's the GM tie-up, right? And then again, E-architecture coming in about 2026 when we'll see a next-gen EV sedan followed by a 3-row EV and then probably an RDX-like EV somewhere in there as well. But ending it there on Acura. Cannot wait to see what they have coming out in 2024. Hopefully we have some surprises, but ZDX hitting the market, and I would love to see an MDX refresh this year, even though I'm about 50-50 on that.